Welcome you all to lecture 3 of week 1 on sustainable solid waste management challenges, opportunity and threat. The contents are challenges and threat associated with solid waste, global perspective on solid waste management, comparison India versus global perspective of practices, microplastic in ecosystem, distribution of microplastic in the environment, impact of food on 3 dimensions of sustainability. Challenges and threat associated with solid waste management or solid waste. Waste management is a challenging task as the waste is mixture in nature and a significant portion is organic in nature, which start degradation when get exposed to the environment or when it get interaction with the water. And when it is start degrading, it will release air, noxious air, it may lead water pollution and it will create several type of problem by attracting the migratory birds, pathogens, etc. Decomposition of municipal solid waste produces carbon dioxide, methane, especially when the decomposition is anaerobic nature, which contribute in severe climate change effect such as greenhouse gas emissions. We very well know that both of the methane and carbon dioxide has global warming potential, and the methane has more global warming potential than the CO2. Improper waste management can give rise to unexpected consequences, including the contamination of ocean and drains, the occurrence of flood, and the transmission of infections through the breeding of vector which poses severe health risks not only to the nearby environment but also to the living organism nearby. Improper waste treatment practices is directly or indirectly linked to air, water and nearby soil pollution. Even it contributes significantly to biodiversity loss and also to the food chain contamination. And in this sense they affect all of us as well as the people living nearby these areas. This is a story published on November 30, 2024, and the title was How Garbage is Raising Not Just Stink but also Pollution in the Delhi. Amid the city ongoing struggle with pollution, a worrying trend has emerged. Garbage fires and open burning incident spiked by a significant 38% in October and November compared to the same period last year in New Delhi. The Delhi Fire Services data reveals concerning trend in number of fire incidents related to garbage, rubbish in open areas. In October, the fire department received 662 calls, a significant increase from 457 it got in the same month last year. This upward trend continues in November with 554 calls received up to 17th compared to 418 calls during the same period last year. This figure shows the environmental challenges derived from the inappropriate treatment of municipal solid waste. On one hand, you can see the expected or expectation like sorting, proper transportation, proper collection and all orderly management of municipal solid waste. And the participant group was the residents, government, private group. As far as the residents is concerned, lack of money, no awareness is very much of concern. For the government part, lack of manpower, financial resources, law regulation is major concern. As far as the private groups, limited capacity for money and volunteer is concerned. And due to this, as far as the resident, if they are unconcerned, the problem of mixing, open burning, abundant building, open dumping is very common. And the consequences are health issues, water pollution and climate pollution. During the COVID period in 2020, this picture is taken during that period and we can see that as even the government initiative was there to people make the aware that don't throw the garbage here and there, don't contact the things, but how vigilant we were, how we were committed towards society. This picture clearly depicts that condition. Placing garbage dumps nearby residential area and incineration plants situated upwind can lead to distribution in normal life and pose risk to the physical health of the resident. Open dumping attracts several migratory birds as well as stray animals in search of food, which as a result pose their health risks. Also, it may serve as a host of some diseases like diarrhea, cholera, etc. Open dumping may further aggravate the problem in rainy season due to water mixing with the waste, resulting in fouling smell, contamination of nearby water body, soil, etc. And also the problem of leaching is also very prominent due to the mixing of waste with either rainwater or water. Open dumping can result in disaster also. The best example is of the landfill site of the Gazipur. 50 tons of garbage came crashing down in 16-story high mountain of waste at East New Delhi. Gazipur landfill site in deadly avalanche that swept away a car, 3 two-wheelers, killing 2 people and injuring 5 on 1 September 2017. Heap of dropped into the Kondali Canal running alongside the landfill around 2 p.m. in evening, creating a giant wave of trashy water that hit the road next to the canal. It washed away the 4-vehicle and ascent car, a scooty, 2 bikes, which fell into the drain on the other side of the road. This picture shows that how the open dumping can create the problem when there is rainfall. It will either precipitate or get infiltrate by the leachate, and it can contaminate our surface water body as well as the groundwater body. This is a picture of one of the hill station as well as the picture of cow feeding on the waste in search of food is also very common in our towns and villages, etc. You can see that a truck throwing a trash bringing from the city to the hill slope, and by this the city may getting rid of the waste. But problem with that is this dumping site, that when the rain will come, it will affect the nearby downstream water body. The biodiversity is affected, the either plant biodiversity or animal biodiversity, and also the health risks associated with that water, etc. There is a 4 picture. In one picture, people are worshipping at home and throwing the flower in the river, and they forgot that the river is lifeline of us. It gives us water for irrigation, it gives water for drinking, and many aquatic life, there's fish, etc. are there in river. And due to this throw of garland, ultimately they will degrade with time and the oxygen level will deplete, and they will threaten the life of the aquatic life present in the water body. Second is the waste dump nearby the water stream. In third, the waste is being collected and then transported in the open trucks between the traffic, and the people behind the trucks are getting exposed. In the fourth, someone has burned that waste and a little boy is sitting and playing nearby that, and that boy is definitely getting exposed with the fumes coming out, and in long run we are posing a health issue with that. Now the global perspective of solid waste management. The key statistics and challenges. The world generates 2.01 billion tons of municipal solid waste annually as per World Bank 2022 report. 33% of global waste is managed through open dumping or burning. Developing countries like Sweden, Germany and Japan had adopted zero waste policies, while developing nations face issues with collection, segregation and disposal. This table shows the comparison between India versus global perspective. You can see the India produce 1,50,000 metric tons per day, whereas at the global level 2.01 billion tons annually. The collection efficiency in India is around 75 to 80% when it is most efficient, but in developed nation it is 95 to 100%. The recycling rate is 20 to 25%, but in the countries like Germany, Japan and Sweden it is 50 to 80%. As far as the landfill usage is concerned, India is highly dependent on landfill, especially on open landfill, or you may say unscientific landfill, but in the developed country minimum landfill use is there and the most of the focus is on recycling of the waste or waste to energy production. Now I am going to talk about the microplastic, because now the time has come to think about that. Not only plastic, the people our humanity is getting threatened from the microplastic which are present in our water body, in our waste. Inadequate management of plastic waste has led to increased contamination of fresh water, marine environment, soil, etc. Plastic material represent between 60 to 80% of the waste present in the marine environment and 90% of waste floating on the sea and oceans. The root of the plastic is used in the land mass, by the stream it goes to the river water body, and lastly the fate is to the sea. The sources of microplastic is industrial waste such as plastic production and processing, tar waste and road dust, personal care products, synthetic textile fibers, improper waste disposal, plastic waste disposal and degradation. If we talk about the environmental contamination, it is affecting marine and freshwater system, it is affecting soil and sediment deposition, it is affecting the bioaccumulation in aquatic organism. Even the Arctic and remote area is reported to have the plastic and microplastic. If you talk about the ecological and human impact, the potential human toxicity is reported, ingestion by marine life is reported, soil health degradation due to microplastic has been reported, and also due to the microplastic contamination of water body, food, etc. It has been reported in human blood and milk also. Plastic waste generation in the marine environment is a threat to both the environment and marine fauna due to the risk of being swallowed by marine life. Statistics shows that at least 267 species worldwide are affected by this problem, including 44% of birds, 43% of mammals, 86% of turtles and various fish species. Plastic waste has a negative impact on health of marine environment as evidenced by the increasing number of marine species affected. These fragments of plastic waste material decomposed in the microplastic in the suspension in the water column or disposed in sediments slow down or prevent the vertical transfer of oxygen. For drinking tap water, another 4,000 particles are added, while for drinking water bottle in plastic, the number increases by 9,000 particles. The author of the study, Karen Cox, believes that these data underestimate the actual consumption of microplastic, and it is possible that in reality the value are much higher. You can think the similar condition with the Coke bottle. The Coke bottle comes in plastic, and Coke, if you remember that in Coke the carbon dioxide is filled in the pressure and in the water, and when the carbon dioxide and water mix, carbonic acid is formed, and carbonic acid is mild acid, either weak acid or strong acid. Both have the corrosive effect, and the Coke bottle comes from the plant to the consumer end. It takes time, sometimes 1 month or sometimes 2 or 3 months. So definitely it is not a matter of concentration, but it is a matter of quality and quantity also, that in these 1 or 2 or 3 months, that drink definitely must have corroded the water bottles, and we are getting exposed with microplastic from that also. Distribution of microplastic in the environment. Microplastic particles are widespread in the environment, including air, water and food. Wastewater treatment plants are ineffective in filtering these tiny particles, contributing to their release. The transport of microplastic depends on their size, constitution, shape and polymer density. Polymer with density lower than seawater, that is 1.02 gram per centimeter cube, such as polyethylene, polypropylene and polystyrene float, while denser polymers like polyvinyl chloride PVC, polyamide PA and polyethylene tetraphthalate sink. These sinking microplastics settle on the seabed, affecting benthic ecosystem present there. A 2015 study found microplastic in the Arctic Ocean with contamination at both surface as well as at deeper level. In developed countries, 70 to 80% of food is processed, and rigorously quality study and quality standards are followed. And also the rigorous quality standards are the prime cause of wastage at agriculture, food production and produce processing, because the time from the production to consumer end is very important, and there is an expiry date of the food. At the distributor and wholesale or retailer, it is due to overstocking, and at household, it is due to buying in excess of need. The food wastage at the retail and consumer stage is significantly more than that at the early supply chain. However, in the developing countries, the food wastage is higher at the immediate post-harvest stages. In India, from the wholesale market to the consumer, there is very little food wastage, as there is market for any type and grade of product. There is a lack of understanding of ways to improve the supply chain upstream of the wholesaler. Also, whenever we people go in the restaurant, as the food quantity we orders depend on our hunger as well as on pocket. So we think of the cost. But whenever we go to any marriage or any party, we want to taste most of the items served there, and we take more and waste more. So it is also the matter of money, but also the matter of choice. The impact of food on three-dimensional sustainability is shown in this table. Reduction, like economic impact, reduction in profit, social impact, decreases in nutrition level, and increase in sustainability to macronutrient deficiency, and related for the environmental concern, increase in emission of greenhouse gas methane. If you talk about increase in cost for disposal and treatment of waste, then it will be increase in price of food, which negatively affect the assets. And if talk about the environmental non-productive use of water and of agricultural land. This slide shows the references taken in this study. So the take-home message is that we should take the food which is needed, because the food is very precious item. Whatever we see, it is not like that. Like if we see the cooked rice, lot of work, lot of water, lot of fertilizer, etc. are behind that. So we should take care of that also while going in marriage also, or in party, or in going in any restaurant. Thank you.